And then, yeah, thank you for recording the meeting. Okay, so while we are opening our minds to all of these parts I've mentioned, Mr. Thomas O. Daniel is already up to take the lead. So Mr. Thomas, please turn on your microphone and take it up.
Okay. Good morning, Prof. And good morning, colleagues. Okay, thank you for the study. Like I said the last time, it's quite an eye-opener, and I feel it should be recommended for every postgraduate school in our country. So I have a question. It's in regards to citation and referencing in abstract. In one of our study, it was mentioned that it should be avoided. So far, I've always sent my abstract without putting citation and references. But of recent, I've seen some abstract in some conference, a book of abstract, where the authors included citation and reference. And personally, also recently, I had to submit an abstract for a Commonwealth poster competition, which was a research, part of the research I did for my postdoc. And my host, my prof, asked that I included a citation about our ongoing manuscripts that we're preparing. So I don't know, what is your view? What should we hold on to? And at what time can one bring in certain citation or references? I think based on that one I submitted, he told me that I should make use of a maximum of 2 citation within the abstract. So please, from your experience, what can you say about that? Thank you.
Thank you. Does Dr. Doherty want to jump on this one? Ebuka, are you there? Okay. While I'm watching out for her, it's a very interesting question you've asked there. The abstract journal, if you look at the course content, and citation, it shouldn't generally, but we made some exceptions. There are specific journals and conference organizers and other domains that may require references. They are just in the very big minority. Yeah, so they're very infinitesimal. So you may, if you sample, if I just do on-the-spot assessment of those who have encountered that in this room, you may find that it is 2%, it is 3%, it is 4% or so. Yeah. So I want to say that if you are required to write from the instruction given to you by the journal or by the conference organizer, you should do that. But if you are not asked to write and you want to write from the generic sense what an abstract should be, you have no business citing references in the abstract. Yeah. And then you should, it doesn't make sense having an abstract run into pages. You should have an abstract on a page. And then the number of words, we can say it should be 200, 300, 350. We want you to be guided by the instruction given by the GPIC writing. So you may want to the instruction given to you by quarters. But if your abstract precise by auto 8, you will see that will be your abstract. So you don't want to bore nobody, and you don't want people to postpone reading the abstract at the eyes cold cook. So you sold immediately and decide to read the rest part of the paper instead of making it so lengthy that they say, okay, I don't read the letter, put in view, and then they don't get to remember to go back to it. I don't know if I've answered your question. Have I answered your question, Mrs. Thomas?
Yes, ma. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, then
Yourselves in the chat box and
the second question.
asking your questions. Okay, that's fine.
Okay, then the second question I want to ask.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. So that
Yeah, can I ask the second question? Hello?
thank you. I got muted automatically. Sorry. Thank you for letting me know. Okay. So, Mr. Thomas, I didn't hear the second question. If you'll be kind enough to repeat it. I got. Yeah.
Okay, ma.
So go ahead. He's here.
Okay, ma. Can you hear me now?
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So
Yes, I can.
The second question is okay. My second question is in this light now. As regards to the abstract, like during my PhD, there's this thing we used to have, this 3-minute thesis presentation where you summarize your work to a non-expert community, more a non-expert, you reduce the technical words and values involved in your work. So what should be and these days I observe, because of the length of number of words required for the abstract, what should be the advisable standard? Should we focus more on having an abstract that is more of how busy you are presenting it more to a non-expert community, then the conclusion should carry more of the technical details, or we should follow the normal either a structured abstract where you capture, because when you are presenting it with a summary such that you don't contain some technical values, you can still achieve the purpose of maintaining the background, the method, the basic result and findings, and the conclusion. So what is your advice on that end?
Okay. Dr. Doherty, do you want to speak? Okay, maybe she's still not in the room, or she has some challenge with the network. Okay, thanks for that question, Mr. Thomas. You like to know what happens to the abstract in terms of the content. Do we write more generic to a general audience who are not experts, or do we make it all technical? So we will encourage you to stay in the middle, because it's a scientific enterprise, publishing to a specialized journal or to a journal that is more robust, having a wide wide reach, like a journal can have science and engineering. Some are more specialized. So watering down, trying to capture the audience, there may be policymakers who are reading to them for making policies or for implementing them. So having that in mind, you would like to meet them halfway. So while you're trying to make sure it's a scientific piece, you can also tone down the language. But we have more generic audience. So those ones you try as much as possible to give a more technical jargon so that those who are experts can contact you to get more information. And if you're measuring, if you have, let me say, something and it's in milliohms per cm cube or something, so you can't say because somebody doesn't know what milliohms and change the unit. Those are not changeable. So you have to maintain the scientific content and status while doing your best to convey message that you plan to convey. But writing like to Facebook or writing on the pages, or maybe blogging, so you can get really more generic, come down to a general audience, not talk like, hi, that what you'll be discussing, and not the numbers of conductivity or resistivity or something in special time for scientists or engineers. So you would like to use the other outlets to write more the meaning for the public. What is the meaning? What is their take home? Are you trying to warn them to stay away from an action or attitude or perception you want to change, or what? Focus on that. But when you're writing for it to be a scientific piece in a scientific journal or engineering journal or other fields, mustn't be science and engineering, it can be humanities and all of that. So that fabric of the field should not be lost, should not be eroded, all in the quest to meet non-experts. Someone said the session is not being recorded. I think it's recorded. It's recorded. Thank you. Yeah, Mr. Thomas, this is my response. Certify your.
Yes, thank you. The last one, I don't know if I still have your permission to ask the last one.
Okay, you ask after this. Let's respond to Hunso Kone.
Okay.
Yeah. So Konoi wants to know how to why the target journal is it it's siege as per number of words the manuscript should contain. Okay, and what she had written maybe 40 pages, and the manuscript according to the journal should know pages, or you have a word count of 12,000. So you need to look at the scope of the paper when you have a lot of data. If you have in your master's degree or PhD, or even undergraduate studies, research, so it may just be a very narrow scope they have. some paper for and spread. So look at this beyond the scope of that title that you have proposed. So irrespective of how beautiful the data looks, you should focus on the scope of the title. That helps you to chop off irrelevant data. Data may be relevant for another paper or for some other thing. You can publish data sets. Now you can publish data sets. Okay, so they may be relevant for something else, but for that particular paper, they are not relevant to tell your story. You just want data that will support through the how you function, and then how what you obtain that finding from the method you followed, and then what the results are, how you have interpreted them, the meaning of those results, which are the questions that are being answered by all parts. Automatically, the length of the literature, what people have done to see how you have chopped off a lot of things, and that's how literature people put as much literature as they have in the discussion of their thesis or dissertation in one paper. So you're not supposed to do that. If you have written your, oh, someone said they can't hear me. Kone said they can't hear me. But my microphone is on. I hope I'm being heard. It's the only Kone that can hear me. I know you can't hear me. This is serious. Can you hear me now?
Prof, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, thank you. Oh, great, thank you. Yeah, so if...
Prof, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. So some persons go to their thesis or dissertation, they copy the results and discussion session and put to a paper. That is wrong practice. That is a dissertation, that is a thesis. So it's a conglomerate of everything you did to bag a degree. You have to have many objectives to even qualify to go on that journey. So you have to reduce the objectives to align with the title you have chosen for the paper. So as you're doing that, the volume of the discussion will come down. Sometimes you will have to do a new discussion to align with the topic you have chosen. Sometimes your topic is descriptive, is presenting a result. Maybe you're saying women who are exposed to radiation from maybe computers have maybe sleep disturbances. So that kind of title is a result-based title. So in that way, you chop off, or maybe in your studies, you had, you tested for diseases, presence of one disease or other, because there are some other objectives you had in the broader thesis or dissertation. So now those objectives are not relevant for this paper. So you're going to take out all of those. Maybe you even had in your questionnaire, assuming you use that instrument to collect data, you had gender, you had maybe status, if they are middle class people, poor, and all of that, if they have work, they work, or they're housewives. If they are not relevant to this particular women who are exposed to radiation and all of that will have sleep disorder. which is one of your findings that you want to focus on to publish a paper. So you chop off all of that data that don't support this one, and you'll be able to tailor down to what the journal requires, because by and large, you must comply to the requirements of a journal to get, for the editor to even pass your submission to the reviewers. I hope that solves that problem. Hone, I hope you heard me. Does that satisfy your concern? Okay, so let's take the third question from Mr. Thomas and we'll continue. Mr. Thomas, please turn on your microphone.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Okay, the third question is about those, in the course of our study, there's something that was mentioned about maybe early career researchers that may not have so many publications. What my question is in this light now, some of us had, okay, personally now, the area I specialized during my PhD is not what I'm doing now. There's a little deviation from what I'm doing. So, but I've been able to do a considerable number of work, even though I don't have sufficient publication in that area. So sometimes if I see some calls for application for some fellowship, I get worried because I felt I don't have enough publication in that area. So my question now is, what is better to do? Is it to write maybe the ongoing work, then to describe it the way it was stated in our work, either manuscript in preparation or manuscript submitted for publication, or to wait until you're able to have considerable number of impact factor articles, maybe 2 to 5, before applying? So what is your advice? Then secondly, also, in that case, my previous publication now, do I need to list them, or I should just list those that will be very significant or relevant to what I am doing now?
Thank you so much for the two-part question. The first one, you're trying to ask if you should go ahead and apply for fellowship. I guess it's postdoctoral fellowship.
Yes.
Yeah, so, okay, so if you should go ahead when you haven't got the publications, but you have sent them out. So
Yes.
you should always read the instruction, because many people need what you need. The competition is very high. A lot of researchers exist world over. So by the time they release the call, you'll be shocked that in the next 30 minutes after the call has gone up, that 1,000 persons, 500 persons are already out with the application. So you want to read to see that you don't waste your time, your precious time, so you can invest that time in something more productive. So you look at the requirements. If you don't meet it, there's no need attempting. But if you have all the time in my practice, if I have all the time, I'm not very busy, and I'm narrowly close, I can decide to try and present myself as a potential. Okay, I meet every other criteria except having 2 publications. I don't have 2 publications, but they require 2 publication minimum. I have other things. So I can write a convincing statement that although I don't have 2 publications, I am experienced in this, either by work, because you're working, or you're teaching. So you're experienced in that field, and maybe you didn't start the publication journey early in life, maybe due to poor mentorship or whatever thing that you want to write. But now that you're up, awake, you have sent out 2 manuscripts, 3 manuscripts to XY journals, you write the journals. You can even write your manuscript submission number if you have one. You're expecting a feedback from the editor, and you can attest to, maybe there are other writing you've done. If you publish a book, even if the book is not online, you can tell them that you have a publication. If you've written a manual guide for the company or something, so you can typify your skills, because why they want minimum of 2 publications, they don't want people who will come on their team after the project, nothing comes out, because the people who have given them money, the donors, maybe expect 10 publications, and they want to hire 5 postdocs on that big project. So they want to say 2 publications minimum. So they want to see that these people are already used to publishing. So it's not going to be a huge burden to get you to publish, so their target can be met. So, but if you show them that you have the skill of writing, you have done some other kinds of scientific writing, but not journal publication, and you have already started your journey toward journal publication, they can consider you.
Okay.
Then the second
you,
one is, yeah, thank you. The second one is references that you need to cite. It's relevant references that you need to, it's not when you publish Joy and Sorrow. Let me say, Joy and Sorrow. Some people write stuff like that. Maybe it's a religious article, or maybe it's a motivational piece or something, and you're applying for postdoctoral fellowship in, let me say, maybe say in public health, Joy and Sorrow. If the article has nothing to do with public health, there is no need putting it there, even as you publish it. If they ask you list of CV, your CV, you can put that, or list of publications. You can. If they say list of relevant publications, you don't need to put that. You only, if it's only one that is relevant, put only one that is relevant, because they want to see your connection to the field, not your writing skill. In your CV, you have all publications you've done, whether they are blogging, all kinds of publications should be in your CV. CV should be very, very condensed with who you are. A CV should describe you. Anybody that goes through your CV should talk about you. You don't need to tell them in an interview or when you make your submissions, if you want more, I give you. No, put all of them in the CV. Everything that describes you as a professional, what are you applying for? And all the things that are needed for those kind of persons. For a postdoc, they need you to write, they need you to read. So you have to showcase your reading skills, your writing skills. They need you to network. You have to showcase your networking skills. They need you to have a cross-country movement. If you've traveled overseas before on a professional thing, put it there. So make sure, think before you make submission, think about that job and what it requires, what are the functions of the person who will be the selected. So try to make yourself to be that person and put everything out. But for that, references that they said, give us 10 relevant publications, and you have only 2 relevant. Not because they said 10 relevant and put 8 that are not relevant. So they may see the 8 before and get you kicked out before the 2. So put the 2. They want 10, but you have 2 relevant. It's better than having 8 first that are not relevant and 2. Even if the 2, you don't know where the eyes go to. There may be a keyword in the title of the paper that they see first and they're attracted to that keyword, and the other get a missing in the crowd.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So, okay, we have Dewinle is asking for help in changing the password. Mr. Barry, I don't know whether he's here. So maybe write that on our Telegram group so that our tech person, Mr. Barry, can look at it. You haven't been able to log in into the course. That's actually terrible, because this is the final week and course ends tomorrow, but you still have that luxury of 1 week to catch up if you can get in. Dr. Neyo is also here to help connect us. Okay, so put it on the Telegram so we can follow up with that. Thank you. You can hear me clearly. Many of us can hear me now. Adewinle has put her email address here. I'm not very sure what they're supposed to do. Okay, you put that on the Telegram because Mr. Barry would like to have the email address he used in registering. So put it on the Telegram. Thank you, Tajuddin. So my colleagues and I are currently carrying out a research in which we use Google Form to obtain data from other students. During this course, I learned that it's necessary to have gotten a permit from any IRB, while we didn't follow this procedure. What happens in case that we're almost done with the writing before knowing about this? Does it invalidate the research or reduce its chance of getting published? Okay, thank you. Does any other facilitator want to speak to this before I contribute? Dr. Neyo, would you like to speak? Dr. Doherty, would you like to speak? Dr. Zainab is not here yet. Okay, while they're getting on the microphone. So congratulations that you're doing research somewhere. We'll try to add value to the society using our research. Yeah, so you use Google Form to obtain data. and you didn't go through the research committee to obtain ethics approval, now you're learning about it depending on the kind of research, because you can have an exemption certificate if it doesn't, if we don't see potential for ethical violation, whether we humans or animals that you're working with. So we may also we may advise you to contact the research, the ethics committee, the relevant one in your case, and also submit to them what you have done. In my university at the moment, I'm a member of the committee. So there are some submissions we receive, they finish their research, and then it's not a good practice. So, but if what they have done have not been ethically sound, unfortunately, we can't help them, but we can validate what they've done if they have done the right thing. So you may wish to contact the committee to look at what you've done, because you haven't presented it here, what you've done. So I can't speak about that ethics, but you should always look at your title and design of your work, what you want to do, the content. If you think that it constitutes ethical violation at any point. So, but a lot of us are not skilled. Maybe someday, if we have the time in Nigeria, AutoAid Hub, so we may want to take up the ethics so that people can understand what constitutes ethical concerns. Because a lot of submissions we have, people say there are no concerns. When we ask them what are the ethical concerns that there are potential in the research they want to start, they say there are no concerns, but we can see 3, 4, So maybe we also need some training on ethical concerns of plans, research plans, so people can get on that. So if the journal is stuck on seeing ethical approval before publishing your work, unfortunately, you cannot publish with such journals. But if there are journals you're sending to that don't concern themselves with citing the ethical approval, so you may be able to get published. So if there are more details you have, maybe on the Telegram, you can bring it up again so we can get more context to your case, because I just know that you are carrying out some research. I don't know the degree of completion of that task. So, and you're saying in case we are almost done. You see, you're trying to make this, you're not putting it what it is. You're saying in case. So if on the Telegram, or we still have time here, because we don't really have time, it's 11:42. If you can put it in another context or tell us exactly where you are on this research journey. So maybe I can give you more specific advice on what to do, but this is generic I can give you because you put everything in perspective, that these are in case possibilities. Okay, thank you. Okay, giving your email address for the Telegram. Yeah, there's a course you need to register, but the course is ending tomorrow. Daniel Thomas is ending tomorrow, and you have 1 week grace to finish reading the course. It's a 3-week course we are on, ending tomorrow. So Dr. Aneyo said the research team can go ahead and apply for permit or contact the ethics committee. Yeah, that's what I have just said in essence. Okay, thanks, Dr. Aneyo. Okay, Tajuddin, let's hear you. Please turn on your microphone.
Thank you very much, Prof. Please, are you
Good
hearing
morning.
me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning.
My colleagues and I are working on One Health, and we got data regarding people's perspective and then people's knowledge about the concept. So we put a questionnaire out, the online survey form, and then we got responses from some students from several universities in Nigeria. So that it's not a medical research or research that has a human or animal component in it. It's just to survey the knowledge of other students regarding the One Health concept. So while going through the course, then I discovered that we were supposed to consult an institutional review board before carrying out the survey. So That was why I decided to ask this the question, if the kind of research we carried out just to survey the knowledge of students. So if that one was not something that could be penalized because of because of our failure to get approval from IRB.
Okay. So are you a member of the team that I just read about the research? Are you a member of the team?
Yes, I'm a member. I am the team lead.
Okay, you're the team lead.
Yes, I'm the team lead, and then some of us we are 9 in the group, so just maybe 1 or 2 of us have been able to publish maybe personally or with some other researchers before, because we are still undergraduates. We are almost graduating, most of us, and there are still some that are still in school, but then we came together to do this research, and then just 1 of us has been able to publish before, and most of us are new to research. So I'm the team lead.
Okay. Thank you. If I understand you well, and you're doing knowledge and awareness,
Yes,
okay,
exactly.
of the One Health program.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that?
Yes, ma'am.
That's what you're studying, knowledge and awareness.
Yes,
Yeah,
that is
so
what we are working on.
okay, so I think that is good enough. You may not require, so if the journal requires you to submit one, you can write a rebuttal stating why your research does not have ethical concern, known ethical concerns. So you explain that. So in a rebuttal, that can be accepted.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Daniel Thomas, I've sent you a direct message because you asked a question if you can be registered for the course, and let you push yourself to see if you can finish the 3-week course in 1 week in the grace period provided. Okay, so when I see that contact, when you contact me, I will see what is possible. Okay, thank you. Do we have any other question in the room? Let me see. Okay, no other question in the room. Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity. We are grateful. I am currently serving a core member in Biostat State, and toward the end of my undergrad study, I have discovered I have a passion for research and data analysis. This saw me taking up ghostwriting tasks and data analysis for clients. Unfortunately, I don't. Okay, I don't have a research of mine which I can pen my name to, except my undergraduate thesis, which I believe to be too crude for publishing. I'm currently struggling on how to streamline my focus so I can better harness my potentials. Please, Ma, how do I go about it? Thank you so much, Dr. Ekene Unyenugu. So if you're Dr. Ekene, except you're using someone else's device, so do you have a PhD, because you only mentioned your undergrad, or is he a medical doctor, 1st degree MBBS? So if you can answer that, that will help me. Okay, you say you are an optometrist. Okay, that's fine. Thank you. So your undergraduate work you think is crude. Maybe you didn't get a good supervisor. You didn't have opportunity to have good design of research that you think could be relevant, that you can dust up and then publish. Having learned about the rudiments of writing now, you could get your undergraduate work, dust it up, and write a paper from it. But now you already gave up. That is crude. So no problems. You can now, you're a copper, where you're working. I don't know, you're concluding. I'm currently serving towards the end. So I could have, if you were beginning, I could have told you to design a study around your work. So you can have 7 months design and carry out. So you can write open research. but you are at the end of the service year. I don't know how many months you have to go. So if you don't have time to go, so you may have to join a research group, join existing research that you find interesting, if people are willing to recruit you, because now you have a lot of skills. You said data analysis you are doing, and writing tasks, so mean that you're now skilled at writing. So if you look at what qualifies you to being an author, I thought you didn't, okay, I thought your hand is up, okay. If you look at what qualifies you to being an author, you may be writing the manuscript, conceiving the idea, data design, statistical analysis, revising the manuscript, approving, all of these points will constitute what qualify people into being authors of papers. So if you're running data analysis for people not paid, they don't contract you to say, I send you my data, you analyze, I pay you money, and you turn in my results and help explain to me so that I can apply it to my write-up. If you're integrated into the research for data analysis, so you can qualify to be a member of that team and can have your name there as an author at the end of it. You can get into the research group and provide that pro bono service. You don't charge them because you're a member of the group. And this is part of the skills you're bringing to the table to run the data analysis and make all the charts. If they need to make charts, choose appropriate charts, figures that can represent the data, help them make informed decisions about whether a table is more appropriate, or pie chart, or line graphs, or histograms, or whatever thing that you think with your data analytical prowess that you have said here, you can do that. And you have papers published with your name as part of the authorship. Yeah. Oh, you have about 9 months. So it's not the end. When you have 1 year service and you have 9 months to go, so it's not about the end, okay? So you still have time. So as an optometrist, there are a lot of, I can use the general time to talk about getting a topic for you. If we connect on other platforms and I have time, we can talk about it. But I've just given you an overview what you can do to start publishing. Saying if you're also skilled in writing proposals, you can start writing proposals and see if you can join the team and win a research grant, and you can get into that research. And after your service, I don't know if you wish to advance your studies to a postgraduate one. Now you're very skilled as you start your writing. Of course, you can't write a review article now because you're still very tender in the profession. So we don't recommend that you write review articles. People who write review articles should have a lot of experiences to be able to do the systematic reviews and matching and collation and extracting information from the pool, and putting the thoughts together to provide new information from existing data. So you're not able to do that. So I encourage you to get into a research team and also grow your hands in writing proposals. So you can join a team to write proposals for research. Thomas Daniel wants to say something else. Go ahead.
Okay, Prof. Thank you, Prof. Please, Prof, my own is an appeal. Given your position, I believe you are close to those in the helm of affairs as relate to NUC and can direct some changes in the nature of our postgraduate program and also even for the undergraduate. Because some of the questions—
Sorry, I got distracted. Can you rephrase that?
Okay, this is the background where my question is coming from.
Okay.
I've done like research during my undergraduate and postgraduate. We've done some courses on research methodology. But the reality is that some of these things we are discussing were not actually exposed to us that time. Then I also know in some university system, they don't have the design where I did my undergraduate. In our third year, we're introduced to research methodology before the final year when you do your project. But where I lecture currently is the system is more like they just assign the student to you in the final year and they just expect the student to go into the project. So sometimes some supervisors may not even give the student the rudiment on what to do. So I'm suggesting that given your position that you are close to the helm of affairs as relate to the decision-making bodies, either NUC or any of those bodies, if they can be having like a seminar or a workshop like this for postgraduate supervisors or for project seminar coordinators of undergraduate departments in Nigerian universities, I think it will make a great deal to be able to bring about a change in our system. That's my appeal, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas, Dr. Thomas, but I don't think that, okay, Dr. Priscilla Komolafe agrees with you and thanks you for bringing it up. But I don't think it's the NUC that should do this. This is something we need. You know, when we do needs assessment, it's not only in research that we do needs assessment, our life, we do needs assessment. I do need assessment for my life. So you should do needs assessment, both as institutions, as individuals, as groups, subgroups, you belong to societies, professional societies, different kinds of closets. We do needs assessment and try to get ourselves up to speed with what helps us get to the next level. So I think institutions can do, it mustn't be NUC. We don't need NUC to do what helps us. We want visibility at universities, at polytechnics, at whatever tertiary institutions that we have. We need visibility, and these are things that will just, you know, take us as a springboard to the next level for us to be more visible and even grow our reputation as individual researchers. So why don't we drive the process? In your department, during the departmental board, you can bring it up and you can find people who can sponsor it. Even if there is no sponsorship, you can talk to people. When people see passion, I mean, I'm doing this and I'm not being paid to do training. I train, but when I have time. So when you see interest, growing interest and passion for what people want, you can get people who can give you pro bono service. But you can also get people who can fund it and pay people to come and give you the service to grow capacity, to develop people's capacity, competencies, so they can do this. And then when you have been trained, what passion do you have to train others? Because if you think that there should be a multiplier effect, that what you know has helped you and you want many other people to know, when there is a great critical mass that has been grown, you see that around you, you're growing. Sometimes I don't have time to do proposal. I just send to my students, my former student, and tell them, give me a proposal, give me a draft on this. And they do it. If I don't grow their skills when they're my student, I'm unable to tap on them and they do it. So there's every need that we take this to the next level and we rub off right, center, forward, backward. We see that wherever we are impacting. So it will rub off on us in the long run. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Proposal and thesis writing should be included in the curriculum. Dr. Priscilla Komolafe said this. I agree. I've been kicking this, but it hasn't happened. So while it hasn't happened, we use our corners, just like I've said too, to keep pushing this thing, because they are the only thing that can help us as academics and researchers to get to this destination. Proposal writing and thesis writing, how to write good thesis, not only to just graduate and get a degree that has no value to us. Some of us just get a degree and just to answer, we've got that degree, maybe it qualifies you to get a job, but nothing more, you know. So we should think about this as individual. What can we do? If the institutions are not doing it, we should do it. Institutions can see our commitment and the result. That's what we do in evidence-based decision-making. We can generate evidence that can become overwhelming and influence these people who are policymakers, because NUC have become policymakers. So it can influence their decision to do this, to support the university system or any higher institution of our choice to get to where we want to see ourselves. We had a hand up, but now it's down. Okay, that was Efia. Okay, Priscilla. Okay, Priscilla wants to say something. Priscilla, jump on it.
Priscilla, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah, good afternoon.
To buttress the point on Mr. Thomas, because I remember during my undergraduate, when I was to write project, I was just told to go and bring a topic, write chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. And I was wondering, what is it all about? No, I don't even know what introduction is. So my supervisor then told me, go to the library, you will find books, read books and bring it up together and the like. So, and I realized over the years, even undergraduate, some of them, you know, when I was doing my PhD, my supervisor would just say, don't trouble them. Is it not an undergraduate student? So it's like, we're just passing that generation of people that don't know anything. By the time they go for masters, the same thing still goes ahead. Go and write proposal. No knowledge of anything on proposal. Okay, is it introduction? Is it, well, what is it all about? So if that can be, you know, put in the curriculum in maybe either universities, I think the way it will help most is if maybe the NUC include it in the curriculum so that our undergraduates will start to know what is project. They will just get to 400 level, then they will tell them, go and bring topic. Go and write proposal when they don't know anything about it. So it has been a concern to me over the years. So when I saw this, I think, and in fact, at least I have a PhD by the grace of God, and I'm still learning from even this online course. So if how much more people that don't even have a knowledge of anything, and they're even in academics as we have. So that's just it. If there's a way you can help to push, I think it would be very good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Priscilla. We take your, I'm not representing NUC here, although I have a position where I go for meeting there, but we will keep cascading what are concerned. But I think that what is more effective is our commitment as individuals. If we're committed to the cause because we are convinced about what the import is, then it can happen.
Prof, can I come in?
Yes, before you come in, Olua Ferami said that she's very happy for this lovely opportunity. She's an undergraduate student in pharmacology and has learned a lot from this course. We are grateful that you could commend us. Can I add the certificate to my LinkedIn profile? Of course, showcase the new skill you have acquired on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a professional page, so you should do that. And when we post this, please go and like it and comment and tell people how useful it was to you. Thank you. Okay, let's hear you, Ikudaisi. Ikudaisi, please, can you unmute? Or is it Dr. Nayo that wanted to speak?
Good afternoon, Prof.
Okay, good afternoon.
Yeah, this is Ikudaisi.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to corroborate what others have been saying in the past few minutes. And honestly, my experience so far on this training shows that the training is quite empowering, revealing, enriching, which is quite not what we have in our university systems. Honestly, I've done, of course, I have my first degree. I've done 2 masters already, and there are so many information that one cannot get even in the 4 walls of university, except maybe you are close to some prof, or some groups within the academic circle. And I will actually advise that we have a way of democratizing much more and liberalizing this information and knowledge in the academic circle. That's where we can have very great researchers in Nigeria. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much. I see a very great comment there. That's what AutoAid believes in, liberalizing knowledge and empowering researchers to be independent, to be able to express themselves. That's the only way we can have innovations being bettered. If people can be independent to express themselves because they have the skills. If you don't have the skills that we are trying to impart, that means you will rely on people. You tell them what you're thinking about for them to express in their own way. But if you have these skills, you can put up your ideas, your proposals, or what you're thinking about, and who knows who will bear the cat. Yeah, so I'm glad that we are coming up. Thank you so much. Nobody has talked about the peer review system. Remember, today is 12 already, so we are rounding up. Today, I have told us the topics for today is what we have done in the week, writing your research paper section by section, using the IMRAD model. So you can't finish this course without knowing the IMRAD. IMRAD is Introduction, methodology or methods or materials and method, depending on what they call it, if it's for journal, if it's for your dissertation or thesis. IMRAD, so research, the R is for results, A is and, discussion. So we try to look at the whole IMRAD, what it means, and the perspective examples. If you have done the courses, you answered a lot of questions and saw whether they were right or wrong, and the platform provided you with reasons why they were right or why they were wrong. Preparing tables and figures so you can know what is appropriate and their usage in writing scientific reports, so that you know you have to mention all of them in your writing. There should be no redundant tables and figures. All of these are in the courses. In the modules we have finished in the week, or we're finishing tomorrow, making a first good impression with your paper. We have told us to try and package our content very well. So as you're launching out, you have a first good impression, just like we say, dress well, that when you see somebody for the first time, they have good impression about you. The same thing you do with the paper. Having a catchy title, the author list well arranged according to the journal specification, and then the affiliation of the author, the first author, the corresponding author. Corresponding author must have a good knowledge of that paper, or must have supervised the paper. So somebody who can answer questions when they come, and somebody who maybe tech savvy, who can remember to check emails to respond to the queries that will come from the editor and the reviewers, but through the editor. Yeah, so, and facing the peer review system. When you get the feedback from the peer review, what are you thinking about? Are you angry? Some of us are angry when we see the peer review result. You think that they hate you. Okay, maybe because I'm an African, even if it's verifiable that it is because you're an African. Hey, you should be more concerned about getting your paper published than thinking about some small mind who don't like you, or who may not like where you come from, or who may not like what you practice or something. They are just small things that shouldn't contribute to a box. You should be more open-minded, bigger than those people. So you should take up the comments. If the comments are good, but the language is not good, you should ignore the language and respond to the comments. Sometimes it's not because of the bad intention like we have in that content, our writing material content. We said sometimes it's because they don't know how to speak English. I've experienced it because I have traveled over 27 countries of the world. So I have experienced people who don't know how to speak English. Sometimes they are very annoying because they can't express themselves. So they are defensive. So in the same way, when they're writing you a feedback, it may reflect in the language, not because they want to be rude to you, but because they do not know the language to be polite. So ignore that and focus on the content. If you understand what their concerns are, focus on that and do that. And then if you don't agree with that, if you're sure you have done the right thing, what they are recommending is the wrong thing, appreciate them for the time, because most reviewers are not paid. Yes, it's just very few journals in the developing country and new journals that want to encourage people to review their papers, so they pay little money, but otherwise most journals don't pay. So these people use their free time to give you a service to help your paper to be better. So you should appreciate them and say thank you for your kind review of our paper titled, that kind of thing. So you give them, I understand you would like me to do XYZ, but either the method of this person publishing this stipulates that this and all of that. And in this field of this, you can quote some authorities saying, so that in this current paper, also published last year, something. So you're building a case to say that what you have done is where the field is at the moment, that you want to appreciate them again for taking their time, investing their time in your work. So they can consider it and drop that particular point. But others that you agree with, you respond to them, act on them in your paper, and show them you have acted on it. In my own practice, I like to use red font to show what I've done differently from the paper, so they can easily see. But some persons will say use review mode to track, so they can see changes, So do what you think works for you, but you must show them what you have done. Don't allow them to struggle to find it. Everything is the same. Maybe you have done the work, but everything, you want them to read over. How do they realize? How do they spot what you have done differently from all their comments? So you should be able to take their comment one by one. Reviewer A or reviewer 1, question 1 or concern 1. Relate this and all of that. This is not reproducible. Write their comment and underneath it respond. I have developed the method further. Adding measurements used for dispensing all of that, put what you have done to resolve their query. And then say in the manuscript that you have used review mode to make edits so that they can easily see or whatever you have done. So attack the reviews in that order and submit. So the review comments, attach it as review comments. So there must be revised manuscript and review comment, a document having all your responses to the different review comments. So that's what I think you left out. Nobody asked question on that. So somebody, okay, could I ask, clarify the positions of the 2 resource persons below who are not obligated to do everything the peers ask. Much of their advice will be helpful, but some will not. And your editor knows this, Dr. Carol Sargent. Okay, Dr. Carol, are you here? Okay, Vessels, respond to every point raised by the reviewer. A frequent complaint from reviewers is that the author failed to respond to all several points raised in the review. In some cases, the reviewer may disagree with your response, but you should not try to avoid a difficult point by simply ignoring it. Yes, I agree with this, and I've said it in my explanation. Solomon Matthew said, good morning, doctor. Please, what should be a guide on accepting review requests from journals? It is a way to give back to the society, to the scientific community, if you're a scientist, or to the research community, if you're a researcher. You can't get all the people helping you to get your paper published by reviewing your work, and you don't want to give no service. And when you review, you also grow in the field. So you get more knowledge, you get even wider perspective on designing your research. You see what other people, maybe from other climes, are thinking or how they think. Is it different from how we think in Nigeria or in Africa or in your own case? So do that. It helps you to develop into a better researcher. So that's what I respond here. So predatory journals, predatory journals don't like reviews. So most of them will not be contacting you. Either they do minimal, little or no review, the predatory journals. So, but if you have review requests and you have the time, do. I've been rejecting a lot because I have got increasingly busy. I don't think I've reviewed any. Okay, I've reviewed just one this year. That's terrible. So I used to do more, but now I don't have the time. So I always decline the request. Yeah. Please, my respect to predatory. So that is not complete. Please, my respect to predatory. Is not complete. I don't understand what you want there. Elijah said, well done. God bless us all. Amen. Glad to join this webinar from Dr. Millie. We learn every day at Professor Ikeria. You're doing a nice job. Well done. Thank you. And thanks all the facilitators. Okay, you haven't completed this, so we're going to be ending now because I have a meeting at 12, but we have to finish up this one assignment. Is there any other thing we have not covered here? We talked about the review process. Some do single blind, double blind, and open review. So open review means that you're seeing like the AAS Open, which is the journal by the only Pan-African Academy. So it's open review. If you submit a paper there, you're going to know your reviewer, and the reviewer will also know you. So that's open review system. So many other journals will do single blind, others will do double blind. So how you know that they do double blind, when you submit in the paper, they're going to ask you to submit a blind manuscript. maybe 2 versions. Some will say 2 versions, one with author details, the other one blind. Some will ask you to submit only blind, and then some will attach list of authors and their details. So you see that the journal is heading towards double blind. That means they don't want the reviewers to know your details, and they don't want to know the details of your reviewers. Some will do the single blind, which means that you don't know your reviewers, but they know you. So whichever one they follow, if you're not comfortable with any, you can discontinue with the process, because they will declare, you will get to know as you interact with the journal. Was a position on project supervisor that refused to be added authors to student paper meant for publication. You could see in the last session, if you were here last week, I said that I rejected one from my student. What I can say, I don't know about the supervisor, but what will make me reject being an author in my students' work is that I don't believe in the work. Some students don't like to work. So you keep flagging them to work and they don't. The last month, to their defense, or whenever, depending if they're undergraduate students or masters, if they're graduate student, maybe when the overstay policy is catching up on them, they just appear to the scene and then start using everybody on you to say, let them approve the work, whatever they have coupled, whether they have stolen the work, just approve so they can go. You're the one keeping us from graduating. So sometimes you may budge and let them have their way. In that manner, you wouldn't like to be a co-author if they should publish, if you don't believe in the work, because he has a potential to dent your image. You don't want your reputation to go down as a researcher because of some student, some unserious student. So, but the students who are serious, you would boldly, have a student that we had 4 papers. Yesterday, I was making some application and I saw 4 papers from this one student, PhD student. I was so proud of him. And I said, okay, I'm going to contact him again and tell him again, you were a good student, because he has finished and he's not in the country at the moment. So, everybody likes success, and we also like to be part of the success process. So when you meet supervisors who are interested in you, who would like to take you on the journey, go with them. It's not easy, but go with them. They give you more work to do. Not the idea of canceling whatever you bring without giving you reasons why they're canceling. That wouldn't be nice. But if they cancel and give you reason why they are canceling, or refer you to some resource materials that you can go read to get more knowledge if you're not able to understand from them, or if they're very busy, yes, that would be very nice. They're grooming you to become better. You can even become better than your supervisors, and that is what is desirable, that you become better than your mentor or your teacher. Yeah, so just take it that way, that the supervisors are not interested in being co-authors because they don't believe in the work. Either they know you stole the work, or they know the design is weak, so it will represent them for people who will read and see their names on the authorship list. Okay, no other question, and it's 12:18. I want to bring this segment to a wrap. Okay, thank you, I see. So I want to bring this to a wrap. So this is the last live session for writing course for publication. We would like to keep interacting. We have the WhatsApp group, we have the Telegram group. So you can prompt us into topics, other topics that you would like to have, so we can think about it and plan towards having it. So these are first workshop on the mock platform. So many people got lost, but we need to do it so that I can get used to it. A lot of organizations use this platform. AutoAid, that is funding us in the UK, they use also this platform. And theirs has gone more advanced because they're training people from different places, GRULAC, and Europe, Latin America, Asia, Africa. So they have a lot of people who patronize their platform. So we grow by doing. So if it was difficult for you to get in this time, so we will get better. As you give us feedback, we keep developing. It won't be a good idea that we keep hosting our event on the AutoAid platform, the one in the UK. that means we are not developing competencies to host such in Nigeria. So it's a good thing that Yabatech is hosting it. So Yabatech is our host, our direct host for AutoAid National Hub Nigeria. So we are growing and getting better. So talk to us on the platform that we are interacting to know what we can do more, the topics that will interest you more, so we can think about how to do them, and we would like you to attend and interact. That you're interacting and giving us feedback, it makes us to know that it is relevant, it's useful, and we can do more. Thank you, all of you, Tajuddin, Oluwafemi, Oluwaferami, Jane Francis, Ikudaisi, Kone, Adewile, Lydia, Engineer Soari. Yes, all of you, you missed a lot. Yes, Soari, you missed a lot. So we hope Gospel also, thanks as well. We hope that you can pour us into another one. Who knows when? And then let's see more. Let's see fruits from this writing course, right? And we try to form, we have a mentorship scheme that is also very young. I don't know how many of you are in the mentorship scheme. Let's see that this training we have given will also improve the mentorship scheme, give your mentors less stress so they don't have to do a lot to get you up to speed. Some of us want the mentorship in research writing, some in different kinds of things in the spectrum of the career we have chosen. So let's, okay, Tajuddin is asking when the next mentorship scheme is coming up. We are not done with this one, so next one won't come until we are done with this one. We have paired the mentors and the mentees already, so no new person can come in. But when the new one, if you're on at the platform, either Telegram or the WhatsApp platform, when the new one comes, we will let you know. But AutoAid UK also had the mentorship scheme. They also have one. So you can also look on their website, AutoAid, not the Nigerian one, the AutoAid UK, they also have one. So they are mother. So you can be there or you can be here. You can be in both. We just want you to experience different kinds of persons, and the local flavor maybe also will add value. So thank you. You got value, Jack Tammy. Interesting, enriching, revealing, and empowering training. Wonderful AutoAid team. Thank you. We are very grateful. So on behalf of the AutoAid National Research Hub, Nigeria, we want to thank you so much for attending today's presentation. The recording will be posted on our platform as soon as they are ready. The IT team is working. The last one, they working on putting on our YouTube before we can release it. So let's keep engaging further and getting better. Thank you from me here.
Thank you,
bye.
Prof. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Prof. Bye all.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prof.